Hey, I'm Selna Kim, America's face of dating, and today we're going to be talking about, did I push her away for good? And so what we have here is from a viewer who recently had a girl pull back, and what he describes in this message that he sent me on Instagram is he thought that he was going to spend his life with this girl, and she ended up just going completely dry and cold on him, and he has no idea why, no idea really what to do. And as most people do, 80% of the people that follow me, they follow me because they just went through a breakup or a girl pulled away, and they want to figure out why that happened. And I get that, because that's how I got into this industry too, is that girls were pulling away. I went through a really bad breakup and girls were continuously pulling away. And it was a struggle, man. It fucking sucked. It sucked getting that text during the day, where she texts you on your phone and she's like, oh yeah, I just don't feel anything romantic for you anymore. And then she just stops talking to you and you're like, what the fuck? Like, what did I do wrong? I thought everything was going well. And so, as most people struggle with this stuff, they start to realize that there are certain things that a man will do that turns the girl off. And what happens is that most guys will start really strong, they'll start masculine, they'll start confidently, and everything typically goes well at the start. But then she starts to pull back a little bit, and he doesn't understand why, and it's because at some point as you're talking to the girl, you switch something up, you started talking weak. Maybe you even started that way because you don't understand this stuff. And then as you continuously make yourself too available, too predictable, and you don't know natural attraction that I teach to all of my Arrow's program members and clients, then she is bound to go cold on you. And so ask yourself, when you're texting a girl, when you're talking to a girl, is this going to make me sound masculine, or is this not going to make me sound masculine? And let's just jump right into the email here, or the message, excuse me. He goes, hey Selna, I could really use some advice. I work in engineering here in Tampa. That's a unique one. You don't really hear much about engineering in Tampa. Usually that's in different places. But he said, and I'd say I'm pretty logical. I'm a pretty logical, straightforward guy. So basically saying he's to the point, but he's also logical, which could really get him into trouble. But when it comes to relationships, it feels like I'm out of my element. Well, that's what I see commonly with people that come to me. Usually they come to me and they're in some sort of tech industry. They're in engineering. They're an entrepreneur. And they have that side of their life really settled in very nicely. But when I get an engineer that comes to me, typically when I go over his text messages or go over his conversations with women and coach him up a little bit, I notice every single time with these guys that these guys are way too logical. They don't know how to flirt. And then she goes cold. And he's like, I don't know what I was doing wrong. Society told me that, I need to be XYZ sort of guy. And then the girl goes cold and he's like, what the fuck just happened? Like, I have no idea what just happened. And then when I show him and I really break down his text messages, I'm just like, dude, why'd you say this? You should have said this instead. And it's like, their eyes are just like, whoa, dude, like, I wish I knew this 5 to 10 years ago, because it would have saved me so much heartbreak. And that's how it was for me too. A lot of you guys don't know this about me, but I wrote about this in my best-selling book, by the way. But I chased, when I was in high school and I started really becoming attracted to females, I caught eyes on this varsity soccer girl. And dude, it's like I just fell in love with her on first sight. I was like, I gotta have this chick. And so I chased her and I chased her and I chased her, and I friend requested her on Facebook. I'd go on my mom's computer at night when my mom wasn't on there to get on Facebook to message her and say hi to her. It was honestly really fucking creepy looking back, but that's how I thought that I was supposed to do it. I was supposed to comment on how beautiful she was and how great I thought she was. And I chased her for 3 years of my life. I asked her out 3 different times, asked her to be my girlfriend over Facebook Messenger, over text message when I finally got her number. Somehow I got her number. I had no idea what I was doing. Got her number though. And I would ask her out and she would just say like, hey, I'm just really busy with school, blah, blah, blah. But then she would start dating like a different varsity soccer guy or a different guy in school. And she would always be flirting with some other guy. And I was like, what the fuck's happening, dude? Like, that's the chick that I wanted. But I would see her with other guys that I knew just weren't as good as I was. And finally, what really cemented it was when I started talking to her again, and she was asking for rides from school because her car broke down. This was like years after I had talked to her and messaged her on Facebook and asked her out multiple times, but I had a car finally. I was the oldest one in my grade because I got held back because my birthday's July 1, which is the cutoff date, and they put me in a grade too early, and I just failed the grade, and they flunked me, and so I got held back a grade. So I was the oldest in my class, basically. And I had a car, and she was asking me for car rides. And I would start, like, I was taking her back to her place, and I was like, shit, like, I got this in the bag, man. Finally, this girl's about to be mine. And I started over texting her, over pursuing her, started calling her beautiful again, and all these stupid habits just started coming out again. And I could feel her pulling away. And so in my brain, I was like, well, I have to do something extremely extravagant to make this girl mine. And so I bought this soccer ball from Dick's Sporting Goods. I wrote all over it in Sharpie marker, all the things that I quote unquote loved about her, gave it to her, and she just gave it to her in front of the school actually, and then she just completely just fucking rejects me and just like walks off. And I was like, damn, that's so fucking embarrassing. And I got made fun of for months because of that. But literally, it's like that was what sparked me to get into this industry because it was just so fucking frustrating. I started studying this stuff and finding people on YouTube and started watching people. And then finally I was like, you know, like I need to get into this industry because I can help a lot of people. But I see from engineers that are very logical, and that's exactly how I used to be. He goes, I met someone amazing in the fall. Things were great. We both connected on a level I hadn't experienced before. She was even the one who first brought up the idea of us moving in together someday. It felt real. I started thinking maybe she was the one. So, I mean, when you hear that, oh, she might be the one, what does that mean in man language? It means that you're putting way too much excess potential on your goal. AKA, you're putting way too much pressure and expectations on achieving your goal. And when you do that, you are bound to make mistakes because your eyes are just completely focused on that goal, and you're really desperate to get to that goal, which means you are going to make a lot of mistakes on the way there, and chances are you won't even get to your goal because you're putting so much excess potential, as reality transurfing, Vlad Ziem, I think the author is, says it on your goal. But when he says, you know, she was the one who brought up moving in together someday, you gotta understand that women will say how they feel in the moment. It means in that moment, that's how she felt. That's what she wanted. But that doesn't mean that's how she's going to feel forever. Women are very, very fickle with their emotions. They're very, very present in the moment on how they feel. Men, I found, are very, very, like, they have anxiety or stress or depression more than women, and it's because men are more in the past or in the future, while women are very in the present moment, and that's what feminine energy is. That's what's good to be in a relationship with a woman, is because she helps you as a man get back into your present moment. But that's how she was feeling in the moment, and you gotta understand that can be fleeting very fast. But earlier this year, something changed. Out of nowhere, she told me she needed a break. She said she loved me, but needed time alone to figure out what she wanted in life. I was stunned. Part of me felt like I should have just respected her space, but I couldn't let that go easily. AKA what you mean right there is, I chased her, I saw the Hollywood movies that you need to chase, just like I did with the varsity soccer girl, and you chased her right out of fucking liking you. I know what that means. I should have just given her space, but I just couldn't help myself. Yeah, you could. You just chose not. You chose not to have patience. You chose not to let her be free, basically. A high-value man is going to be like, you know what? If you don't want to be with me, that's fine. Go find someone else. I'm giving you the freedom to find somebody else. And that's what love is. Love is free. Love is playful and fun, and love is free. And you got to let her feel free to choose somebody else. Over the next couple months, we stayed in touch, chatting. I know what that means. We stayed in touch, AKA, I chased the shit out of her. I texted her constantly. I blowed up her phone. I liked all of her social media posts. And I was too afraid to walk away and go no contact, as I talk about in a lot of my other videos here. Go no contact to let her be free, right? And let her come to me. You got to let women come to you. You have to outwait and outwit women. You need to outwait them. If she says she needs space, okay. Don't text her. Don't call her. You may never hear from her again, and you have to be okay with that. That's how you get to your goal. Chatting and even meeting up a few times, I kept reaching out, hoping she'd change her mind. Exactly. I kept reaching out. I told you I know exactly what that means. Hoping she'd change her mind. AKA, I blew the shit up out of her phone. I texted her, called her, liked her social media posts, hoping that she would change her mind, but insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. You're doing the same thing over and over again, blowing up her phone. And that's why she wasn't going to go out with you. I could tell it bothered her, but I was so afraid of losing her that I just kept messaging, trying to keep the connection alive. Yeah, you were fearful. And you let fear run your life. And whenever you let fear run your life and make your decisions for you, fear is not going to choose the right decision for you to do. By early summer, she was more distant. But she's been distant, bro. She's been that. I reached out again, hoping for a different response, but she told me she'd learned to live without me and wanted me to move on. That's where she has completely went to the blue zone on the chart that I talk about on YouTube here and also in my book. She's went completely cold. She's basically indifferent for you. She doesn't give a fuck. You talked her out of liking you, dude. She even said she hoped I'd find somebody to make me happy. Like she'd always made peace with it. Yeah, when a woman loves you, dude, when a woman loves you, she will never want to see you with somebody else. When a girl says that, she's like, you know, I'm hoping you find someone who makes you happy. She did make you happy. So she's not really hoping for that. She's basically saying, I hope you find someone else because I'm not the girl for you. You really fucked this up. Like when a girl loves you, dude, I don't care what women say. Women will tell you, I'm not the jealous type. Oh, apply natural attraction, dude. Apply natural attraction, and then a thing called feelings come into play, and she becomes the jealous type. Every girl has it in there, just like every girl has an inner slut, as I call it, and the right man can bring it out. And that's a good thing. Right? That's a really good thing if you're a man that can bring out her inner slut, man. She looks like a fucking porn star when she's in bed with you, bro. Because you brought that out of her. Because that's what masculine energy does. So now I'm here, I'm wondering if I pushed her away for good. Did I sabotage something that could have worked out? Yes. Yes, you did. If I'd given her the space that she needed, and is there any way to fix this, or did I just blow my shot? You probably blew your shot, to be honest. But at the end of the day, he said, thanks for any advice you can give. I'm really at a loss here, James. Or did I just blow my shot? Dude, you probably blew your shot. There's a high chance she can come back. I'm not a fucking magician. I'm not a genie. But she could always come back. However, she's not going to come back if you continue to chase her like you're chasing her right now. She's never going to come back. What you should do is start reading my book. You should potentially consider joining my mentorship program and working with me. Because if she comes back and you just and you do these same things over again, as the definition of insanity goes, then the same results are just going to happen. She's just going to go cold on you, and she's going to lose interest in you, and it's going to piss you off, and you're going to be like, what the fuck? And that's just how it's going to go from that point, because you need to learn what happened. If you don't know what happened, then you are bound to repeat it. Just as the old saying goes, history repeats itself. If we can't learn from history, then it's just bound to repeat itself, because human nature is human nature at the end of the day. And I'm going to show you. You really should. I'll take the camera off the thing here. But it's like you really should consider doing my mentorship program. Like this is what it looks like right here. This is the Winch channel. Literally Ruben, he's like how to stay cool under a girl whose every text is a test. Tan Man got another number. He's a police officer in Illinois actually. Sean got a date with this girl Amanda on Saturday. He was also an engineer. He really struggled with talking with women, but he's like, I got a date with Amanda this Saturday. We're hitting a brewery. Same thing with Braylon Eli Cox. Shout out to Selna Kim just a short week ago. Wasn't able to get a response back, let alone get dates, but his style and willingness to take action helped me. I'm 19 and this girl is 21. Like, I'm telling you guys, if you guys want to master natural attraction, then consider working with me in my program. There we go. Now it's back on the thing. Consider working with me in my program. Because at the end of the day, this is just going to keep happening the longer that you wait to work on this stuff. And so the smart man needs to have a growth mentality. He needs to put in the work on this stuff and fix it now so you don't deal with this. And I get it. At least you're here now, though. At least you can start learning now and make that decision now to change. And so on that note, if you want to work with me personally in my mentorship program, there's a call link in the description below. You can hop on a call with me or my team, and we'll see if this is a perfect fit for you and paint you out a higher level strategy right there on the call as to what it would look like if you were to work with us. Also, check out my best-selling book, Waking the Core of Man. You guys all should have read that book by now if you've been following me for over a week or two. And on that note, follow me on Instagram as well. If you're not sure or you're still learning, follow me on Instagram and message me there, and we'll talk and go back and forth on there. See if you're a perfect fit for what we do. But on that note, I'm Selna Kim. You can write in to my email. It's also, you can go to my website in the description below and write me in an email as well if you'd like me to make it into a video in the future. And I will see you guys in the next video.